My wife stole every dollar my father left me. Lied. Cheated. Laughed in my face. After I found out what she really did with the money. And who helped her do it. Then she showed up pregnant. And swore the child was mine. I watched the video she recorded when she thought no one would ever see it. I don't know if this is a cry for advice or just a need to get the weight off my chest, but I need to write it out. My brain's spinning so fast I can't even keep thoughts in order. There's a lot to unpack. 3 days ago, I found out my wife emptied the inheritance account my dad left me. Every cent gone. And she had the nerve to act like I was the problem when I confronted her. Let me back up. My dad passed away almost a year ago. It wasn't sudden. He'd been battling a condition for a long time. We were closer than I ever was to my mom. He didn't grow up with much, but he built his business from nothing. When I was little, he'd take me along to job sites and tell me that everything he was building was for me. Not in a spoiled way, more like, I want you to have options I never did. Before he died, he told me clearly, this money is to give you breathing room. Build your own life. Start your own thing. He left me $147,000. That's a lot to some, less to others. To me, it was freedom. I told my wife, Lauren, about it a few weeks after the will cleared. At first, she was quiet about it, just said, wow, that's amazing, your dad really cared about you. Then the shift started. At first it was small. Lauren would suggest we finally redo the kitchen, something she'd been begging for since we moved in. I told her not yet, that I wanted to invest part of it, maybe use a bit for a side business I'd been planning for years. She smiled, nodded, said, of course babe, it's your dad's legacy. That sentence now makes my stomach turn. Because 2 weeks ago my card got declined at the grocery store. I figured it was a glitch, my paycheck hit the day before. I opened my banking app and saw my main checking account was fine, but the inheritance savings was 0. At first, I thought it was a mistake. I called the bank. They confirmed there had been several transfers over the past 2 months. Into her joint account. The same one Lauren uses for bills and expenses. Total amount transferred? $147,000. All of it. I was frozen. I actually laughed. Like a crazy person. I kept refreshing the screen like it would change. When Lauren came home, I didn't even greet her. I just held out my phone and asked, did you do this? She didn't deny it. She didn't cry. She didn't apologize. She rolled her eyes and said, why are you acting like I stole it? It's our money. You always talk like it's only yours, but we're married. I didn't think you'd mind helping out a bit. A bit? I asked where the money went. She said she invested it. Which sounded bad enough, but when I asked what that meant, she got cagey. Eventually she admitted she gave $30,000 to her brother for a crypto opportunity, spent $40,000 on a home renovation project she hadn't even started yet, and used the rest to pay off some stuff. Some stuff turned out to be her secret credit card debt. And not just regular spending. I found charges for designer bags, spa trips, and this one hit hard, multiple transfers to a guy named Tyler. Who is Tyler? She said he was just a friend who helped her during a rough patch emotionally. I'm not stupid. I didn't say a word. I got in my car and drove to my best friend Mike's place. Sat on his couch for 6 hours without saying a word. The next day, I checked security cam footage from our front door. We installed it during the initial renovations. That's when the second hit came. Over the last 6 weeks, Tyler had been at our house at least 9 times while I was at work. Once at midnight. Once while I was away on a work trip. I haven't confronted her about Tyler. Not yet. I don't even know if I want to. That night I returned home, she acted like nothing happened. She ordered Thai food and asked if I wanted to watch something. When I didn't respond, she sighed and said, are you going to be mad at me forever? You're so dramatic. I said, you spent every cent of what my dad left me behind my back. And her reply? Well, maybe if you'd made decisions faster, I wouldn't have had to. That's when I realized something. Lauren never respected me. Not once. All the little jokes over the years about how I needed to man up or how her friends' husbands knew how to hustle, they weren't jokes. She saw me as a fallback. A wallet with a soft spine. And I played the part. I remembered when we were dating, she'd always say stuff like, I love that you're so dependable, or you're so grounded compared to my exes. It felt like a compliment at the time. But now I see what she really meant. I was safe. Predictable. Easy to control. She was the storm. I was the harbor. Until she decided to sink the boat too. I checked our financials. Lauren has been redirecting small amounts from our joint savings into a private account for over a year. Little bits. Undetectable at first. But over time it added up to about $18,000. I checked the email she uses for online shopping. Found messages from a private lawyer she consulted 2 months ago. Subject line, options for asset protection in separation scenarios. She's been planning something. I don't even know what. But here's the kicker. Yesterday morning, I got a call from my dad's old lawyer. He said, "Hey, just wanted to confirm you received the check from the life insurance payout. It cleared on our end." I said, "What check?" Turns out there was a separate $50,000 policy that was mailed to her house under my name. Guess whose signature is on the back of the check? Not mine. She forged my name. That $50,000 life insurance check? The one addressed to me? She endorsed it herself and deposited it into her private account. The same one I didn't know existed until 24 hours ago. The lawyer was shocked when I told him I never even saw the check. He asked if I wanted to file a police report. I told him I needed time to think. Truth is, I was still trying to breathe. That night, I didn't go home. I parked in a grocery store lot and just sat in the dark. Checked my phone over and over like something would magically fix itself. Lauren texted me once, "Where are you?" No follow-up. No missed calls. Just silence. I ended up crashing at Mike's place again. In the morning, I checked our home Wi-Fi usage through the router's portal, something I set up months ago. Just a habit. Guess what I found? From 1:20 a.m. to nearly 4 a.m. someone was streaming shows in the living room. Lauren didn't even pretend to care that I hadn't come home. She just binge-watched some trash series and went to bed. She knew she'd won. Or at least, she thought she had. I called the bank to ask how she cashed the check. They confirmed it had been deposited through a mobile app into an account under her name. I asked how that was possible when the check was made out to me. They said if the name is different but it's a joint household account, it's usually overlooked unless you dispute it. I asked what happens if I do dispute it. They said I'd have to file a formal claim of forgery. That might lead to a police investigation. I hung up. A few hours later, Lauren texted again, "Are you coming back today? Or should I just assume you're being dramatic again?" That's the moment the switch flipped. This wasn't just money. This was theft. Fraud. And now I knew she didn't just see me as weak, she saw me as irrelevant. I responded with one sentence. "I know about the life insurance." She didn't reply for 15 minutes. Then she wrote, "You need to calm down before you do something stupid." Stupid? That word kept ringing in my head like a hammer hitting metal. She used to say that word a lot. Whenever I brought up ideas she didn't like, "That's a stupid plan." When I wanted to invest in stocks, "Stupid risk." When I wanted to leave my job and start a business, "Don't be stupid, we need your salary." Lauren used stupid the way other people use no. I went back to the house later that afternoon, but I didn't walk in. I sat outside and watched from my car. Tyler showed up. Again. This time I took photos. Him walking up, her opening the door, him going in. I waited 2 hours. He didn't leave. I wasn't even mad. Just numb. The next morning I went to the bank in person. I asked for a printout of every transfer out of the inheritance account and a copy of the check deposit for the insurance. They gave me a scanned image. It was my name. My handwriting. But not my hand. I added it to the folder. Then I went home. When I walked in, she was sitting at the table on her laptop. Didn't look up. Just said, "Nice of you to come home." I asked her straight, "Did you forge my name and deposit that check?" She didn't answer. I asked again. Then she said it. The exact words. "I deposited it for us. I didn't forge anything. You left it lying around. I assumed you meant for me to handle it." I asked where the check was. She shrugged. "I don't know. It's in the trash probably. You should be more careful." That was when I told her I spoke with the lawyer. Told her I got the scanned deposit. Told her I knew she had a private account and that I saw the name Tyler on too many payment memos. Her face changed. Not fear. Not guilt. Annoyance. She stood up and said, "Fine. So what? You were never going to do anything useful with the money anyway." At least I took initiative. I asked her if Tyler was the guy from the bank transfers. She smiled. "You're really going to make this ugly, aren't you?" I asked, "Are you cheating on me with him?" She said, "You're asking the wrong questions." I didn't yell. Didn't hit anything. I just walked upstairs, packed a bag, grabbed all the folders, and left. Now I'm staying with Mike full-time. I've already made an appointment with a lawyer. Not just for the divorce, but for the fraud case too. Because I think there's more. Here's where it gets worse. I logged into my tax account just to check something because a random thought hit me that I couldn't shake. My accountant emailed me a month ago asking if I'd submitted some forms. I never got back to him. Guess what I found? A tax return request with my name, but the deposit bank info was not mine. Someone had filed an amended return claiming $6,000 in deductions I never submitted. The routing number led to her secret account. I called the IRS hotline. They're investigating. But they said if it turns out to be fraud, it's a felony. It had been 5 days since I left the house. I was running on caffeine, half-eaten drive-through, and rage I couldn't even explain. My body felt like it was on autopilot. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think. But then the dam cracked. I got a DM on Instagram from a guy I hadn't talked to since high school. Devin. Not even a friend, more like an acquaintance I hadn't thought about in a decade. He wrote, "Hey man. This might be weird, but I think your wife is messaging my brother. It's probably nothing, but figured you should know." Something about the way he said it made me feel cold. I messaged back, "Who's your brother?" "His name's Cody. He works at Redacted Lounge. She's been in there a few times." She messaged him directly on Insta. I saw the notification by accident. Recognized her name. He attached a screenshot. It was Lauren. Her real profile. Message read, "You looked good last weekend. Same time Friday, smiley face." I sat completely still. Then I noticed the timestamp over a month ago, while I was still living under the same roof with her. Still sleeping beside her. I asked, "You sure it's her?" "Devin." "Bro, she sent a selfie. In a bathroom with teal tile. Looked fancy. Like hotel fancy. Our master bath has teal tile." I picked it out. I asked for the picture. He sent it. There it was, our sink, her phone, her hair curled, my toothbrush in the corner of the frame. The rage was back, but this time it was focused. I didn't even reply. I screenshotted everything and sent it straight to my lawyer. She called me within 10 minutes. "We have what we need," she said. "This changes the case." That afternoon I returned to the house not to talk, just to gather evidence. Lauren wasn't home. Tyler's car was parked out front like it lived there now. I walked in and headed straight to her desk. She never used it much. But I knew if she was sloppy enough to leave a paper trail, it'd be there. And I was right. A folder labeled tax/personal. Inside, bank printouts from her hidden account. A typed expense sheet labeled repayments. And a printed copy of my tax filing. Or what she submitted in my name. I scanned everything using my phone, dropped the folder where I found it, and left. Tyler never came out. Coward. That night, Lauren texted me. Not to ask where I was. Not to apologize. Just this. "You should probably calm down. You're making a big deal out of things you don't understand." I responded, "I know about Cody." Her reply took almost an hour. "Why are you doing this? Don't tear everything down because you're emotional." "I'm emotional?" She forged checks. Stole 6 figures. Slept with strangers. Filed a fake tax return. Lied for months. And I'm the emotional one? I didn't reply. The next morning I got another surprise. My lawyer called again. "Did you know there was a second life insurance policy from your dad?" "What?" $25,000. Filed months before he passed. We traced it. It was deposited into the same hidden account. That brings the total up to $222,000. And she's texting me about alimony. But that wasn't the worst of it. That same day I got a call from my friend Mike. He said, "Random question. Did you and Lauren ever sponsor her cousin's tuition?" I told him no. Never even talked about it. He said, "Weird. Because her cousin just posted on Facebook about an anonymous $7,800 gift that covered her spring semester. Said it came from someone who believed in her future. Guess what bank account it came from? Same one." Lauren was throwing my inheritance around like confetti, buying loyalty, admiration, whatever she could substitute for a personality. Later that night, it got even darker. 9:41 p.m. A knock on the door. It was Cody. Yes, that Cody. The lounge guy. The one she was messaging behind my back. He looked nervous. Like someone had dared him to show up. "I didn't know she was married," he said quickly. "Not at first. She told me you were just roommates. That the marriage was done, you just hadn't filed yet." I didn't say anything. He went on, "When I found out the truth, I told her I was done. That's when she said something that scared me." "What?" I asked. He looked straight at me. "She said she was pregnant. Said it could be mine. Or someone else's. And that if I didn't keep quiet, she'd make things ugly for everyone." My ears were ringing. I asked, "When did she say that?" He swallowed. 3 days ago. The day after Cody came to my door, I didn't sleep. I just drove. Ended up parked in front of the house around 5 a.m. Lights were off. Still quiet. But I wasn't going in. I was done walking into that place like it still meant something. Instead, I pulled out my phone and reread the document my lawyer sent me late the night before. We'd officially filed for divorce. Grounds: fraud, financial abuse, misappropriation of assets, and malicious intent to deceive. My lawyer also included a petition for a court freeze on all accounts Lauren had access to. And attached to that petition? A request for a paternity test. Because here's the thing. Lauren's pregnancy bomb wasn't just a scare tactic. She'd already told Cody. Which meant she was building a backup story. A safety net. A way to trap someone, either me or him, into taking financial responsibility for whatever mess she'd created. But the paperwork I had? It was a grenade with the pin halfway out. I didn't confront her. I didn't call. I let her wonder what I knew. Let her sit in silence and stew. The next few days were quiet, too quiet. No calls. No texts. Nothing from her. Which in Lauren speak meant one of two things. She was talking to a lawyer. She was crafting a new story. Turns out it was both. On Tuesday, I was served a notice. She was officially contesting the divorce filing. Not just that, she was countersuing me. You read that right? Her claim? That I was emotionally abusive, financially controlling, and manipulated her into isolation. That I withheld access to marital funds and damaged her credit. She filed a request for spousal support, 50% of all remaining assets, and full control of our shared home. I laughed. Actually laughed. It wasn't funny. It was pure insanity. That same afternoon, my lawyer called me and said she had something better than a win. She had a checkmate. We'd already subpoenaed the bank records, traced the forged endorsements, collected Cody's written statement, even found receipts tying Lauren's cosmetic clinic payments to other names, not hers. But the real hammer? The DNA results. Lauren wasn't just pretending to be pregnant. She'd already had a baby. 8 months ago. She just never told me. And that baby? Not mine. Not even close. The DNA test was done quietly through a lawyer-assisted medical clinic after we learned she'd added a dependent to her private health insurance. She used my last name, listed me as the legal father, all without ever saying a word. Now it made sense. The constant withdrawals, the sudden need for emergency funds. She was financing a secret life while tying my name to a child I never knew existed. But the paper didn't lie. My lawyer said, "We're filing this with the judge immediately. You're not paying a cent toward that child. And she's going to be in serious legal trouble for falsifying dependent info." 2 days later, we were in court for the emergency hearing. Lauren showed up looking tired, but dressed like it was a job interview. Tyler wasn't with her. She sat across the aisle, didn't look at me once. The judge started with formalities, then asked both sides for opening statements. Her lawyer stood up and painted a picture of a neglected, emotionally devastated wife. Claimed I had cut Lauren off from funds, controlled her movements, and undermined her identity. Said she had every right to half of everything I owned. Then it was my lawyer's turn. She handed the judge a binder. Inside, proof of the forged checks, full bank records showing asset drain, the fake tax filing in my name, statements from Cody and Tyler, screenshots from Devin, and the kicker, the DNA results. When the judge read the last page, he stopped, removed his glasses. Then he looked at Lauren and asked, "Did you knowingly list the petitioner as the legal father of a child you knew was not his?" She tried to cry. I saw her mouth twitch, but nothing came. She said, "I didn't know for sure." The judge cut her off. "You filed legal documentation naming him as the father. That's a felony if proven false." Her lawyer leaned over and whispered something. Lauren looked down. The judge issued a temporary restraining order preventing her from accessing any shared funds, including the home. Froze her accounts pending investigation, and scheduled a fraud hearing. We walked out and she still didn't look at me. But as I passed, I heard her whisper, "You destroyed everything." I stopped, turned, and said, "No. You did. I just finally picked up the pieces."